Welcome back to the 8 Minute Podcast, where 8 minutes is all it takes to transform your day. So, if you're ready, let's dive in and make every minute count. Welcome back, everyone. Um, I haven't posted in 2 weeks, so I do apologize. Perhaps some of you are waiting for an episode, perhaps not. But in any case, I am back. I am back and very excited to start posting again. The past few weeks have been busy, and my energy and my focus um, had to be directed towards other projects, which is fine, which is great. I feel very, very grateful to be able to have so much going on in my life. Um, yeah, it also showed me with a lot of humility that I do, if I want this podcast to be successful, which I really do, I really appreciate this project. I hold it very close to my heart. But if I do want to make it work, I must put some systems into place to make sure that we can deliver, and by we I mean me, that I can deliver every week and quality and valuable content for you guys. So, with that being said, let's dive into today's episode and into today's topic, which has nothing to do with all of this. But here we are. I have been thinking a lot about healing and personal growth and progress in one's journey. And these thoughts keep coming back to me of how small, tiny changes, tiny tweaks can lead to such profound and long term and sustainable transformation. And I think we get this false narrative and this false idea that change is kind of this one big thing. You see those before and after pictures of people, going through some change. Um, but it just doesn't work that way. I mean, perhaps it does for some people. I know for me, it really doesn't. I think it's just few tiny changes over time compound into one huge transformation. And you feel as though you're doing the same thing and you're moving through the motions over and over again. And then you look back and you think to yourself, I'm so far from where I was 6 months ago or even a month ago. Progress is just happens sometimes without us really realizing it, I think. Um, but here's the thing about progress that I have been thinking about recently that I wanted to share with you today. And it's the following. When you heal, when you progress in some way, you may still feel the same emotions, the same feelings of discomfort. Um, but it is how you react to those feelings that will differ from your past self. And I know this idea seems very simple and very straightforward, but the more I thought about it, and I thought, actually, this is not so intuitive because when you think about healing, most of the time you think that it will take away the pain, that it will take away the struggle, but not necessarily. I think the real change, the real key here is that despite feeling some form of discomfort, you choose intentionally, and then over time it becomes natural, but you choose naturally to respond in a new way and hopefully in a way that serves you better. Let me give you a couple of examples of this. So let's say that people gaslight you often on a regular basis and guilt trip you into thinking you did something wrong, and then the way you act, usually when that event occurs, is by acting small and making sure the other person is comfortable at your own expense. I'm sure lots of us can relate on this one. But imagine this is your case, right? So if you start to change at the beginning when a similar event will occur, and that someone will try to make you feel guilty even though they have no specific justification of why you should actually be feeling guilty, the new you, the person who will act differently, may still feel guilt at the beginning. You will still feel this guilt, but then what you decide to do about it is different. So instead of making the other person feel comfortable at your own expense, you will just stay strong in your ground and, move on with your life, despite still feeling this emotion. And over time, if you stay consistent with this particular change, in this example, the feeling of guilt will be reduced over time. It will not be instantaneous, but over time, the more you repeat the new behavior, the weaker the emotion will be. I hope this makes sense, but it's just something I've been thinking about. And I've seen some changes in myself, the way I operate, the way I behave, the way I place my boundaries, the way I navigate, whether that's relationships of all sorts or just how I carry myself in this world. And this for me has been one of the most profound realizations about how change occurs in one's life. Thank you so much for listening to the 8 Minute Podcast. I hope this resonated with you in one way or another. Please let me know in the comments. And until next time, cheers.